It is a final from South Beach. Game 4 is over, and the Philadelphia 76ers have won it 106-102 against the Miami Heat. They have gone into Miami to take both games. I'm joined by Jack Cudahy, and we're going to analyze this Game 4. Jack, how are you doing?
I'm okay. We've had some technical difficulties getting this one out for a little while, but we're trying.
Yeah,
How about
hopefully
you?
this one. Hopefully this one will be all right, so we can get through this together.
Yeah.
Philadelphia 76ers were led by J.J. Redick tonight, point-wise, with 24 points on 8 of 18 shooting, 2 of 9 from the three-point land, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Joel Embiid, productive again, 31 minutes, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks. He did have 8 turnovers, but that was kind of the theme for the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. Ben Simmons had a triple-double, 17 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists, along with 4 steals. He also had 7 turnovers. And that's kind of where we're starting here tonight, Jack. Philadelphia was down really this entire game, especially there in the first half. And they had 17 turnovers in the first half, ended up with 27. That was the biggest problem for them tonight. Yet they were able to overcome it with a 14-0 run there in the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. That really got them back into this game, made some big plays down the stretch, and they really stole this game from Miami. What were your thoughts on tonight's game?
Philadelphia's half-court defense kept them in the game. It's that simple. When Robert Covington and Ben Simmons, when they're playing on the perimeter, Covington's one of the best defenders in the NBA. He, especially on the perimeter, he led the league in deflections, I think, this year. Ben Simmons, as a rookie, has been fantastic. He can guard 1 through 5, basically. And when Embiid is bookending that defense and, blockading the rim and cutting off the paint, when those 3 guys are on the floor, the Heat just struggle to create shot opportunities, and it's the Heat's biggest weakness. They do not have enough shot creation outside of Dwayne Wade, and considering that he's gotten older and he's less productive than he used to be, that's not a viable strategy to win in the playoffs.
I totally agree. I think it's a problem that Dwayne Wade is your only shot getter, like you just said. He's a player that wasn't even on your team until the trade deadline where they traded him from Cleveland. He had how many shots did he take? He played well. He played decently well today. I mean, 26 minutes, 10 to 22 from the field. He led them with 25 points. But him and Dragic are really their only 2 options right now. Yes, Jay Rich will hit threes for you, and Wayne Ellington will hit threes for you, but they don't really create their own shot. So it's bad that your only player that really creates shots and your best shot creator was traded for a second-round pick in this year's trade deadline. Do you have a problem with that? Like I have a problem with that they can't really get production from anybody else?
Yeah, I do. The shot creation issue's been this way all year. It's not really an issue in the regular season when teams aren't trying as hard and aren't keying in on your weaknesses as much, but this has always been something the Heat could have foreseen. They don't have a ton of shooting on the roster outside of Ellington and Olynyk, maybe even Jay Rich, but other than that, they have a really bad combination. They don't have really good shot creators, and they can't spread the floor really well, and that just makes it very hard against great playoff defenses to create space and create open looks. Dwayne Wade played pretty well today. I mean, 10 of 22 on a lot of tough looks, a lot of tough mid-range fadeaways. He did well. And
Philly knows that Dwayne Wade's really their go-to option. So, I mean, they're sending their best packages right at him, and he's still able to drop 25 points tonight. Like you just said, he had a pretty good game. They need more production from other guys. They're all like role players, but they're not even that great of role players. They're all kind of just corner jump shooters. And then like Kelly Olynyk, who what even is he really? Stretch 5, stretch 4. Like his identity is kind of all over the place, to be honest. And then they go out. I mean, the best player before they got Dwayne Wade in the trade deadline was Hassan Whiteside, who didn't really play in the first 3 games. Tonight, he did play actually more than he did this entire series, but he still didn't play that much. He only played 26 minutes, but he was extremely productive. He had 13 points on 6 of 9 shooting. He had 13 rebounds, and along with a block. Yes, he had 4 turnovers and 4 fouls, but with Whiteside, you get the good and the bad. And when Philly went on that 14-0 run there at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, like I mentioned earlier, Whiteside was nowhere to be found on the court. He was on the bench. Spoelstra did not put him in. I thought for sure that when the fourth quarter was starting, that they would for sure have Whiteside on the floor, but they didn't. They got 4 or 6 more points. Then they called timeout, and then Whiteside came back in. I thought it was a bad coaching job by Eric Spoelstra tonight. I thought it was all controllable, and he let this game get away. They were up double digits in the first half, and Philly did not play well. Like we just said, they had 27 turnovers, and they still couldn't capitalize.
You're absolutely right about Whiteside. He should have been playing more in the second half. Tying into the shot creation thing, the Heat need to scrounge points, as many as they possibly can in the series. And one of the ways to do that is to get offensive rebounds and get putbacks and increase the amount of opportunities you have to shoot. Whiteside's their best offensive rebounder. In games 2 and 3, I didn't think he played hard enough for that to be a contributing factor to him being on the court. I thought the Heat were right to sit him because he just wasn't playing hard. That wasn't the case in game 4. He was doing a great job defending Embiid. Embiid was struggling with turnovers all game long. He was active on the defensive end pretty much. He got a lot of help from the perimeter defense from the Heat, but he wasn't a liability. He was a strength. And it's not a coincidence that when he came back in the game midway through the fourth quarter, the Heat went on their run to close the gap. I mean, he got an offensive rebound. He got an easy layup. He was able to defend the rim. He was able to stop the Philadelphia offensive rebounding barrage, which Ersan Ilyasova was killing them on the offensive boards in the second half of the game. Ersan Ilyasova, that's not who you think of when you think of a rebounding monster. That goes to show you how much the Heat need Whiteside's presence in there when Whiteside is engaged. I don't think he was engaged earlier in the series. Today, he deserved to play.
And as good as Ersan was tonight on the offensive rebounding end, he was better in the beginning of the series, and that was without Embiid. So I don't understand why Whiteside isn't even playing in game 1 and game 2 and game 3 when Ersan, I think he had an 18 rebound game, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's all preventable if you don't put Kelly Olynyk out there on the floor to play with. Yes, Kelly Olynyk will go out. He's a better scorer probably than Whiteside at the moment, which won't be the case on most nights. But this series, for some reason, Kelly Olynyk can score the ball. He didn't tonight, but games 1, 2, and 3, he did. But Whiteside, like you said, he's a great offensive rebounder, and he'll play defense on Embiid. I think somebody was at the free throw line late in that game and missed the free throw. Whiteside got the offensive rebound, got it to Wade for a dunk. They go on to the other side of the floor, and Embiid's trying to score in the post, and Whiteside causes that turnover from Embiid. They go down and score, and I think it cut it to 1. So Whiteside can make those great plays for you, but if you don't give him the opportunity, then he obviously can't. And Whiteside was quoted after the game 3 route that they lost to against Philadelphia, saying, yeah, coach just wants me to go sit in the corner and then set occasional threes, or screens. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's really frustrated. I think Heat fans are frustrated with Spoelstra not playing him. Spoelstra's frustrated with Whiteside. Fans are still frustrated with Whiteside. So it's kind of ugly with Whiteside's scenario there, which isn't good because he's supposed to be your future. So there's big problems in Miami right now.
Yeah, he's just too inconsistent for me to really get on board. But when he's active and when he's engaged, he is their biggest threat. He is their biggest problem solver. And they didn't take advantage of that tonight. The Heat, I want to get into this a little bit more with the Heat because I think it's very important for the future of the series and to see if they can get back into it. They obviously need Wade's shot creation in order to create offense in the half court, but they also need Whiteside for the defensive impact he makes around the rim. Who do the Heat play with both of them on the floor? Because both of them cannot shoot threes, and Philadelphia is so long, active, and big, especially on the inside, that if you're not able to spread the floor against them, you're not going to create enough space to create shots within your half-court offense. Tonight, in the fourth quarter, they played James Johnson with both Whiteside and Wade, and I like James Johnson. He's a quality playmaker, very good defender, very active, long, big. He cannot play with those guys because he's not a good enough three-point shooter for the Philadelphia defense to respect him. They were just clogging up the lane all night long and forcing Wade to make contested mid-range jumpers, which is not going to beat Philadelphia's offense in the long run. I'm concerned about that. I think they need to play Ellington and Olynyk more with those two on the floor just because of shooting.
I agree. I think you do need to play Whiteside and Olynyk together, which, I mean, it's an experiment. I'm not exactly sure how it would work, but like you said, it brings that stretch guy, that Whiteside. It's kind of like when Boogie and Anthony Davis kind of play together. It's like it could work. Yeah. So I think Miami when they had that big lead, they blew it. They just flat out choked that lead away. I mean, that's pretty undeniable. Then Then they kind of worked their way back into the game, and it was a 1-point game there at the end there. And then they had back-to-back defensive breakdowns, which is just inexcusable when you need to win this game to send it back to Philly 2-2. You're within one with like a minute and 20 to go. And then Simmons got right to the hole easy. Just I don't even think anybody touched him for that dunk. There, I don't remember that with 1:20 to go.
I do actually, yeah.
Yeah, nobody touched him. He just easily got to the rim. Next possession, there was a screen that Redick put on. I don't remember who he put it on. And then he floated to the corner. Nobody picked up on him. Both guys stayed at the ball. There was a defensive breakdown there, and he got a wide open deep two that he just drained to put him back up 3. And, I mean, you can't have that in a game you need to have where you just give wide open looks back-to-back possessions with 1 minute to go in the game.
Yeah, that first possession where Redick set a screen for Simmons to go around the corner and attack the basket. Redick, this is where Philadelphia makes you make tough choices in their offense. Redick is such a good shooter that the guy who's guarding him, Josh Richardson, needed to make a choice. He needed to either cut off Simmons' drive or leave Redick open for a possible three-point opportunity, which Redick can handle with barely any airspace, let alone being wide open.
Yes, but
Richardson chose the wrong option.
Yes, but the guy that's
right.
guarding should easily. Why don't I just switch there? Why not just have a all-out switch there?
I agree. That's what they should have done. Yes, it's a
little bit of a mismatch on Simmons, and who'd you say that Jay Rich would have switched on?
Richardson, but Richardson's a quality isolation defender.
I mean, yes, it might not be the exact matchup you want, but you're not letting a guy get right to the hole. You're not playing the guessing game. Then you're at least saying, all right, beat me with a good play here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's those little mistakes. I mean, they add up, and Philadelphia, for such a young team, is really, really good at taking advantage and like paying attention to detail. Credit to their coaching staff because they've done a really good job in this series of adjusting, and even when their players aren't playing well, making smart plays in tough situations.
One problem that I do have with Philly tonight, though, is how they sat Markelle Fultz once again, and I don't understand that because in the first and second quarter they were down double digits, so it's not like they were pressure minutes almost that entire game. I understand playing McConnell over him at the end there for the experience because Markelle's only played 20-some NBA games in his career, and he's still a rookie. But he could have been a guy off the bench that got a spark for you in that first and second quarter that kind of could have got stuff rolling for you. It ended up not mattering because they did actually come back and win, but I don't understand why they put McConnell in for Markelle Fultz in the first half there. I get it in the second half. Do you have a problem with them not playing Markelle Fultz any minutes?
I definitely do. Fultz and McConnell offer very different things that can be useful in different circumstances. McConnell's much more of a defensive, consistent, like, you know what you're getting from him. You're getting full court pressure, you're getting energy. You're not getting a lot of shot creation, but you know you're getting a consistent effort, and he's not going to kill you with turnovers. Markelle, he's much more inexperienced. Honestly, yeah, you're right.
He had 3 turnovers in 9 minutes.
McConnell wasn't very good in that respect, but generally that's how McConnell's played all year is what I'm saying. Fultz, on the other hand, is much more erratic. You don't know what you're getting game in, game out, but with Philadelphia's struggles in the half court, Philadelphia did not do well. I mean, 27 turnovers, that says a lot. Fultz is so talented athletically. He can get a shot off basically whenever he wants. He's bigger than any point guard that the Heat really have. They needed to give him a little bit of run, just 3 to 4 minutes. See what he's giving you tonight. And if he's not working, take him out, put in McConnell, and run with that. But you need to test things like that. Honestly, if the Heat had won this game by the same margin as Philadelphia, I would have looked to that and said, maybe if you do this in the second quarter, does this change the game and change the series? They got lucky in a little bit, but that's a little thing too. That's a little thing they can fix for game.
I totally agree with that. And then if you're a Philly fan right now, you have to be you're upset that they played awful, but you have to be just so happy that you were able to pull off this win. You're a team that relies on the 3-point ball with Bellinelli, Embiid, Redick, Covington, Saric, Ilyasova. All those guys love to shoot threes. And he only shot 23% from 3-point land tonight. And you were still able to pull out this win on the road when you were down double digits in the first half. It's remarkable that they were even able to win this game.
It's an incredibly encouraging sign for Philadelphia. I think this speaks to how much more talented they are than Miami, really. And how they can win games in so many different ways.
Yeah. All right, Jack, real quick. Moving on to game 5 real quick. I think that Philly was going to get it done. Do you quickly think that Philly's going to get this done?
Yeah, I do.
And then, okay, so we both think that. What does Miami need to do in order to get it back to Miami for game 6?
Well, they need to defend their butts off like they did today. But what they also really need to do, they need to make sure they have enough shooting on the floor at all times. They need that. They need to shoot well, particularly from 3 in order to have a chance. And also, if Whiteside's engaged, play him. Okay, I get it. He isn't the most consistent player. He's their biggest game changer when he's on. And when he's on, he can change games for them, and they need to play him more if he is.
I agree. Whiteside's got to play 30-plus minutes if they want to win this game. Wade's got to keep doing what he's doing. Man, this loss really hurt because they got to win 3 in a row against a Philadelphia team who's extremely, extremely good. They might even be the best team in the East right now. So this one was kind of the season, and they lost it. They really choked it away. So I see Philly. I see Philly in a rout in Game 5 on Tuesday. I don't really see this game being close. I think Miami's spirits are kind of down, and Philly's going to ride on their crowd and get themselves to a second-round matchup.
All right. To Miami's credit, one last thing before we go. To Miami's credit, their defense and their effort level today was outstanding. I'm skeptical that they can bring that back to Philadelphia when they don't have the home crowd egging them on, but they did a really good job. Other than Simmons, everyone else from Philadelphia didn't really have a good game at all. None of them really had a good game. And if they bring that effort to Philadelphia, they bring that intensity and that execution, they'll have a shot, but it takes so much out of you. I don't know. I don't see them doing it.
To play that well defensively and not get rewarded with a W. It's just that's got to be heart-wrenching. But real quick, one more thing, Jack. The aggressiveness of this series. How crazy is this series?
I absolutely love it. This is what the Heat have done all year. I was expecting this from them. The Sixers, though, really young team. I didn't know how they were going to react, but they're just rolling the balls out and playing. They're just playing hard and having fun. This, even though it's not necessarily the most competitive series, I'd say, is the most fun to watch easily. Everyone is going out, balls to the wall. It's getting chippy. People are fighting. James Johnson, Ben Simmons, everyone's getting into it. I love it. I absolutely love when the NBA gets back to some of its feisty, gritty roots. It's much more fun than all of this resting. It's just more fun. It's not that I necessarily agree with it all the time, but it's more fun than all this resting Golden State, San Antonio type series where everyone's just kind of like,
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like there's no really right now. I mean, Embiid and Simmons are very soon to be, if not already are, but there's no like powerhouse superstar like a LeBron or like a Curry or a Durant or a Kawhi Leonard or somebody like that, where guys like have too much respect that they can't do anything to them. Like they're almost untouchable, and refs will make sure that they're untouchable. But like a Ben Simmons who's a rookie and a Joel Embiid who's a second-year guy, and then on the other side, Dwayne Wade's probably a little bit of an untouchable, although
not really anymore. I would say no.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But it's almost like all these guys are proving themselves right now. And it's like a chip on their shoulder. Like, all right, this is like, we'll play like we do on the streets right now. Because you're not taking anything from me, but I'm going to take it all from you. And they all have that same mindset right now. And it's super fun to watch. And I can't wait for Game 5. The other series like that actually is New Orleans and Portland right now. I'm watching it right now. And this game's getting chippy. But
we'll get into that on a later pod. But
yeah, we'll get into that once this game ends. It looks like New Orleans could get the sweep down. They're up 11 right now in Portland, midway through the third quarter. So that series is absolutely insane. So we'll get to that. So make sure to tune into that. But as far as this one goes, Jack and I both think this series is now over. Game 5, I believe, will be a rout. And that game will be on Tuesday night back in Philly. On the other side of the camera, he is Jack the Statman Cudahy. I'm Michael Rachel. You've been listening to Beyond Debatable.